Hello, this is James Smith at GannAnalysis.net, my website, www.GannAnalysis.net. Today we're looking at Apple. We're looking at unadjusted price history, which means that when you have a stock split, we don't smooth the data. Basically, you see it in its raw form, the way it actually traded. So this stock split looks kind of ugly on the chart, but from W.D. Gann's point of view, looking at unadjusted, unaltered price history was definitely the way to go. So, what are we doing with this chart? Well, oftentimes people do a square of a range or square of a high, and these things have purpose or a Gann fan, but sometimes it's better just to look at, place a few Gann lines and see what you get. In this case, we're using a 1x1 with a scale price unit of 2 points per month. So that means that this 1x1 declines at a rate of 2 points per month. So notice here that it caught this high at 515 pretty much exactly. So if you weren't using unadjusted price history, you would not have seen this. So I'm not saying you can't use adjusted price history, but sometimes it's useful to look at unadjusted as well. And note here from this low, we're using a 1x2 line. What is that? It is a slope of 1 point per month instead of 2. So if the 1x1 is 2 points per month, this is just half, and we call that a 1x2. It caught this high originating from this low here. Same line here, gave you support, support, support. Where I have the circles, I've shown you obvious hits. There's also one here. Again, these are all 1x2 lines. Now, you wonder about this one because it's originating from 0 at the time of this high. We call that a 0 line, a 1x2 0 line, and it gave you this low. So this is a perfect illustration of, the fact that Gann is the geometry of time and price. So if you get a 1x2 line that gives you a high, you should also try a 1x2 line from 0 at the time of an important high or maybe an important low and see what you get. In this case, it gave you an important low here at 127. Actually, it was a little bit lower there. It was 124. So I've just overlaid the scale here. This is not a 45-degree line. I've just used it in order to give you the price. So this is a 1x2 line. This is a 1x2 line, and the red lines are 1x1 lines. So what's interesting is that it gave you exact support. Now, I don't care if you're bullish or bearish on Apple. One thing you have to know that if this support ever gives way, this thing's going to sell off hard. Alternatively, if you come back, let's say during the month of April, you come back to 127, bounce off this line, that would be a reason to buy with a stop loss just below this line. So either way, whether you're bullish or bearish, the Gann lines give you information. And then partly it's just a matter of letting the market tell you what it wants to do. If it closes below, hey, that's bearish. If it bounces off this line after a sell-off, that's bullish. So we'll see what happens. And remember, this is unadjusted price history. So even though it looks pretty ugly with this huge stock split, that is, the preferred way of doing Gann. Now, it doesn't mean I won't look at adjusted price history for a square of the range or things like that, but sometimes it's useful to also look at unadjusted price history. And obviously, you would never have gotten this hit without, doing it this way. So now, one other thing I would point out, let's see if we can do another line here. Notice how the 1x1 is giving you exact resistance. It's often the case if you get a live angle like this one here, it gave you the exact high, you should use the line again, right? So if you have 154.94, that's where resistance is. It was resistance last month in February at, let's see, 156.94. And now it's resistance here in March at 154.94. So what we're saying is because this live angle gave you the exact high, we automatically draw a Gann line down from that high because we assume that if it worked once, lightning might strike twice. Maybe this will be important resistance. So automatically you have information about the trend. If you close above 154.94 and during the month of March, let's say you close the month of March above this level, then it'll probably continue. If you fail at this level, hey, maybe you come back down here. And then we'll watch to see what happens when you get to the 1x20 line. So, you have a lot of information on this chart without doing Gann fans, without doing square the range or square the high. Just drawing Gann lines is an often overlooked tool. You just pick a lot of lows and highs and you draw a few Gann lines. And, you keep it simple. If you get it too cluttered, sometimes you miss the forest from the trees. You tend to overdo it with Gann. It's too easy to put on every line imaginable, and then you miss the important stuff because it gets lost in there. But yeah, right now I would be looking at 154.94 as resistance, and I would look here. Let's see, April for the month of March it'd be 126. That would be your support, key resistance. You get a lot of information just drawing a few Gann lines. So I hope this has been helpful. And if you like what you see here, you want to see more works like this, go to GannAnalysis.net, register, check out a few free reports. And if you really like it, think about subscribing for a month or maybe 3 months. Hit the subscribe button. I think you'll like it. Right now is a hugely important time for Apple, but also for a whole range of stocks. I think you'll find the complete report on Apple very useful, but also the S&P, the Dow, the NASDAQ, a range of markets. So think about it. Check it out. At the very least, register to the website. You'll get some free reports. And then after that, you'll learn something about Gann. Good luck in your trading.